Tuesdays at Papa Murphy's, you can get large signature or thin crust pizzas for just $12.
We call it Take and Bake Tuesday.
Talking $12 Take and Bake Tuesday?
That's today's topic.
It's terrific for tuning up a tiring Tuesday through a tasty $12 treat.
Truthfully, Take and Bake Tuesday tops tossing back tacos.
Tell that taco to hit the trail. It's Take and Bake Tuesday's time to triumph.
Time out, this is turning into a tongue twister.
Totally tis. So just try Take and Bake for $12 every Tuesday at Papa Murphy's. Change the way you pizza.
We will not be held responsible for any hearing impairments or damage caused to you from excessive exposure to this sound.
It's Friday, October 19th, 2012. This is the Sackheads Radio Show. What? What?
Jesus. Hi. Are we live yet?
We're live as always.
No, we're not.
No, we're always live. I am always live. One way or the other, I'm always live, technically. I am live. I'm always in first person.
I saw something absolutely awesome today.
What?
It's a Velcro tab, and I might need it.
What's it for?
It says stuff. It says, fuck it, let's do it live.
Well, it's going to be that type of show this evening, I can tell you. How are you, man?
Good. How are you? The Niners won yesterday. Football.
Yeah, I know. I know what the Niners are. Thank you, though. I appreciate
I didn't
it.
know. You're from, Massachusetts and all. You have, like, the Patriots or something.
What do you mean, or something? The New England Patriots.
Or something. I don't know what they are.
Don't give me that or
That's
something.
AFC football. It's like National League Baseball. I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it's like.
Thank you for agreeing.
Have you seen my coffee?
You mean this coffee?
No.
That's
Where's my... Oh, God. The whole damn show is almost ruined.
So you're wearing a Boston Red Sox shirt.
Well, yeah, because I represent awesome on every facet.
Well, yeah, because
of the
you're a
spectrum.
sackhead. What is... Are we having a live webcam now?
No.
For our show?
No.
What are you doing?
What? I'm fixing it.
So, interesting week for the Sackheads.
It has been an interesting week.
To say the least. So our office got destroyed.
Yeah.
I think the wildebeest went through there or something.
Yeah, so we were
that
supposed
was
to...
awesome.
We were supposed to make a big swap to the new
layer
of
doom,
and it fell. It exploded. Is the only way I can actually explain it.
Not literally, but I mean, well, maybe kind of.
So here we are back on the old. So
what?
No, there's no uh-oh.
Are you like multitasking right now?
I know, dude. I hate doing that.
What are you doing? I wish I was in studio with you. Hey, how quiet is this cockpit right now?
Dude, it's super quiet.
It is, right?
Let's pick up to where we go, which
yeah. I don't even know what you're talking about.
What don't you know? I don't understand why this is hard for you to...
Well, okay, on a positive note this week, we did call in on the Andrea Kaye show.
We did. You called in. I got to give you credit for that. You called in.
Now, hang on a second. It's a we. This is, sorry, Goose. We.
We did. We, and by we, I mean you.
Well, it's kind of like we tweet, right? I mean,
yeah.
Seriously.
Well, we do tweet.
And by we, I mean you.
Yeah, right. It's me. We did call in and spoke to
Because
Andrea.
I text you, hey, tweet this for me on occasion.
Yeah, not more than on occasion. Usually, yeah, if it's something profound and amazing, it's you.
Right.
If it's me just insulting people, that's me doing the Twitter. So you can pretty much figure it out just by how we are together.
Really? Why are you going to throw us down like that? And I like keeping people guessing. Because once in a while you'll have a profound statement.
I don't. Dude, I appreciate you trying to build me up for the audience. There's a reason we had you call in the Andrea show, because if I did it, it would have been 2 poop jokes, and that would have been it.
Which is perfect.
A lot happened in politics this week.
Are we really getting into the meat and potatoes of the show right now already? Seriously?
No, I just said a lot in politics. I didn't.
Okay.
I said a lot in politics.
Oh.
What is so big?
So, anyways, we're looking for a new office. We're jumping around a lot today. We can't do this. We do have Sacco, sound guy. Say hi to the folks, Sacco.
That's good enough. Thanks, Sacco.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. Sacco is an official sackhead. Just so you guys know, he's also here to provide comic relief. Sometimes we just need a verbal punching bag. And Sacco is great fodder for that. He's kind of like, have you ever played Risk?
Yes.
Okay, you know how you leave like one army in a territory almost kind of like a buffer? That's Sacco. Or
we could call him Australian Sacco.
I just like him because his name sounds like Saki.
Right, and I love Saki.
Which is really awesome.
No, hey, you know
Sacco does. Hang on, I got to build him up now. We tore him down. We got to build him up.
Okay.
No, Sacco does an amazing job with our sound, and he's responsible for our opening music. I think he's got a CD coming out. Right, it's going platinum soon, which is awesome.
It's going aluminum.
So it's going like paper. I think is the first anniversary. So does a great job. So he's in studio with us tonight. Sacco, great to have you. But again, you are like that little like transport and Axis and Allies that you kind of leave with your carrier fodder. That way you can take that off the board in the sea lanes when you get.
Here's what we'll do for Sacco, though.
He plays Dungeons and Dragons, I'm pretty
Sacco
sure.
is
Dude, seriously, a black trench coat? Dude, what are you, trench coat mafia? What is this?
I love your boots, though.
Yeah, yeah, those are great. Nice big silver buckles.
What
are you, a pirate? Dude, look at the plume in his hat. Seriously.
Well, it's not the plume that I worry about. It's actually the white gloves. I don't understand why somebody would wear white gloves all the time, but that's cool, though. You know what? So,
okay, wait.
This is what we're going to do for Sacco.
Go.
We're going to give him such a hard time that all of our female listeners, all 5 of them, are going to, like, feel bad for him, and he's going to become the show favorite. Like, oh, they're picking on poor Sacco again.
Yeah.
I'm good-looking. We love you, you hairy Armenian.
We do love you.
Are you really opening packages while we're doing an interview with you? We have you in studio. We're talking.
Hey, he's the sound guy. He's opening a router.
It's just there trying to introduce you to the audience as our new sound engineer, and you're going to open stuff? Are you kidding me?
You know what? Screw it. Sacco, you're doing the show. Here's the microphone.
No. He's already proven he can't.
I can't.
Get over here.
Hair thinning can happen for so many reasons. Whether it's stress or hormones or anything, at Nutrafol we've learned that real change starts below the surface. Our hair growth supplements take a whole body approach and target the key root causes of hair thinning, so you can see visibly thicker, stronger hair in 3 to 6 months.
Hair growth starts from the inside at Nutrafol.com. That's Nutrafol.com.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is Taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.
I can't do it.
Okay.
So, this is ridiculous.
We're back.
Sacco, we love you.
An interesting movie this week.
What'd you see?
I can't say the name of it because this is a family show. But, no, have you ever seen The Village?
No.
It's kind of a unique, it's an interesting show. I don't like horror films because I'm kind of a sissy. Look, if it's a bad guy doing bad things, I can deal with that. Somebody that I can physically stop, put a bullet in, something that I can do.
I am very much of the same thought.
I don't like that.
Things
I can't, like
insane
ghosts and like demonic possession. I want nothing to do with because I believe that stuff is true.
Right.
And I can't do anything to stop it. Nothing that I know how to do works on that.
Right.
So I don't mess around with it. But a buddy of mine told me about this movie, The Village, and he said, dude, you have to watch it. And I was like, look, you don't understand. I don't like scary, freaky, monster horror stuff, especially supernatural stuff like that could be real because I believe in that stuff. He was like, look, you won't be scared, I promise. He offered to cuddle me, which was very nice. He's got soft arms. And What?
Would you just tell this story,
I'm
please?
telling this
We have
story.
a whole show to
How
get
do you
to,
know he
and you're
wasn't
taking
even
10
there?
minutes on this damn story.
I know. And so,
Oh, God.
anyway.
Was it a good movie?
It was a good movie.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's all I got.
So, you know that
Did you watch?
the Smith Dinner? Have you seen anything about that? They do it every election year at the Smith Dinner in New York. They raise money for the charity.
SMYTHE or
No,
SMITH?
SMITH.
Okay.
And
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of that one. I've heard of the other one.
So each candidate
Like a
shows up.
blacksmith dinner?
No. It's just a fundraiser, and each one shows up.
Like, what do they smith?
Well, I'm gonna.
silversmith?
That's the last name of the. Just shut up and listen for once. Which
Well, I'm trying to figure this out here.
Well, everyone else has, so you need to catch up.
Go ahead.
So it's kind of like a roast, and each candidate shows up, and they kind of roast themselves and each other a little bit.
A pot roast?
It
I'm
kinda-
sorry, I forget.
I'm gonna. If I had two mics right now, I'd mute you. So each candidate,
There's one
Governor
mic.
Romney
Okay.
and President Obama, showed up. Both were pretty decently funny. Obama was flat. You could tell by watching him, he is tired. He's exhausted. You can tell this is taking the toll on him. And
is he tired, or is he just not a comedian?
No, because a few other things. When he speaks at the press roast and stuff like that, he's got timing, usually comedic time, and he can deliver a good joke.
Okay, look, hang on.
I'm not saying he writes all of his jokes.
Hey, take the Obama sticker off for a second, okay? and be realistic. The man's not a comedian.
We asked, though, that he's a great speaker.
He is.
And when he has the right material in front of him, funny speaker. He doesn't write it. I know he doesn't write it. Neither one of them probably write all their jokes. I'd highly doubt it. However, they both were very funny.
I want to write for them.
But Romney stole the show, and I'm going to play a couple of the Romney clips.
This is not in our schedule.
I know. I'm doing what I want this time.
What are you doing?
So, so this is Romney, and he's talking about the president.
Of course, only 19 days to go into the finish line. Campaign full of surprises. The debates are very exciting. Just the other night, we had a very fun debate. Candy Crowley was there and was happy to welcome us. But people seem to be very curious as to how we prepare for the debates. Let me tell you what I do. First, refrain from alcohol for 65 years before the debate. Second, find the biggest available straw man and then just mercilessly attack it. Big Bird didn't even see it coming. And by the way, in the spirit of Sesame Street, the President's remarks tonight are brought to you by the letter O and the number 16 trillion.
As pleased. Sorry, some of them he smiled at. Some of the jokes the president definitely smiled at. And a couple of them you could tell that he was getting hit and wasn't exactly thrilled on it.
I thought that was.
I thought that was. He had a couple.
That was pretty good.
He had a couple of good lines.
I like the Joe Biden line about the smiling.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that one. Play that one.
I was actually hoping the president would bring Joe Biden along this evening, because he'll laugh at anything. I was actually hoping.
One of the things that I liked about him is he had some self-deprecating humor, and he had two of them. One was his clothing joke, which is this one.
Now, Al, you are right. A campaign can require a lot of wardrobe changes. Blue jeans in the morning, perhaps, suit for a lunch fundraiser, sport coat for dinner, but it's nice to finally relax and to wear what Ann and I wear around the house.
This is a radio show. People can't see.
So
that may not be funny.
Everybody but you watched it.
Why would you pick that clip? Nobody can.
So obviously they're in a tuxedo. It was just good. He had some good lines. The president had it. I'm going to play one or two of them. The president had a couple good lines, and I like this one.
It's been 4 years since I was last at the Al Smith dinner, and I have to admit some things have changed since then. I've heard some people say, Barack, you're not as young as you used to be. Where's that golden smile? Where's that pep in your step? And I say, settle down, Joe. I'm trying to run a cabinet meeting here. It's been 4 years since I was last.
So that was pretty funny. Everything's on repeat tonight, I guess. And then I thought this was one of the bad ones.
This is the third time that Governor Romney and I have met recently. As some of you may have noticed, I had a lot more energy in our second debate. I felt really well rested after the nice long nap I had in the first debate. Although it turns out millions of Americans focused in on the second debate who didn't focus in on the first debate, and I happen to be one of them. I particularly want to apologize to Chris Matthews. 4 years ago, I gave him a thrill up his leg. This time around, I gave him a stroke.
So
that was dirty.
That was very dirty.
I didn't know the president was dirty.
I like stuff like this.
You know what?
It takes them off the campaign trail and lets them have fun.
Hang on. Campaign ad for Mitt Romney. Obama admits to stroking Chris Matthews. And just loop that clip. I apologize to Chris Matthews. I gave him a stroke.
That should work out so great. So it's a good. Hey, listen, it's a fundraiser. They poke fun at themselves. I thought Romney, out of the two of them, got the most laughs. He did actually talk longer this time for once, which is nice. They didn't cut him off every chance they got.
That doesn't happen.
And the president had some funny lines, but man, he looks tired. He looks worn out.
The man's running the free world. Of course he's going to look tired.
I just think this campaign's taken more out of him than he expected.
And he's got more and more troubles coming.
Yeah, which we're going to get into tonight.
Look, the second debate was, I thought it went very well for both candidates.
I thought each one of them had some points that they made pretty decent.
I've heard a lot of pundits, a lot of people are saying that Obama won the second debate on points, blah, blah, blah. But I have to say, I think that I'm one of the people that actually call the debate a draw. I think that both made some good points, both scored some good hits on the other. Obama absolutely showed up. It was confrontational at times. We have some great clips that we're going to get to about the debate that we can talk on some of the specific points of it.
Right.
And I think that some of those pundits are saying that Obama won because he did not, in fact, show up for the first debate. So his debate is going to look spectacular compared to what he did the first time around.
Anything would have looked better on that level, on that scale. You know, like maybe Al Gore was right. Maybe he had altitude sickness on the first one.
That's just what it is. It's kind of like if a major league team were going to play like a single A team.
Yeah.
And
the
then
first time was not pretty. You knew he was going to come back this time better. He prepped for it a lot longer. He keeps prepping with John Kerry, which I think is kind of funny. That's his debate.
John Kerry actually.
He's not a dumb man.
He's not a dumb man.
But being from Massachusetts and just growing up with Kerry, I just find it funny. I've always found Kerry funny because he's a smart man. I hate his politics.
Which is weird because you've been a big supporter of his. I remember us talking for him.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
Every time I buy a bottle of Heinz ketchup, I curse him because I know he's getting a piece of it.
Don't buy Heinz ketchup. Hey, what was that Heinz where they found that big in New York?
Oh, in New Jersey.
No,
New Jersey. You mean the mob warehouse?
Yes.
Where they changed the labels and...
Seriously. Counterfeit ketchup? Are you kidding me?
It was counterfeit ketchup that obviously the mob made back enough where they just left, the hell with it, we'll just leave it.
It'll start stinking.
Hey, boss, we made our percentage back. What do you want to do with the rest? Just leave it the hell in there. Nobody will ever notice. It's ketchup.
The cats will eat it. I mean, seriously.
The 42 cases. Hey, let you know the mob is still alive. And nobody else has said it's the mob but me yet.
Right.
But I'll let you know the mob's alive and well in Jersey still.
Gee, that's weird.
I know. It's bizarre.
It's what?
It's bizarre. I knew you were going to get me on that.
Of course.
I talk funny, you slouch.
The debate... Can we get back to business here?
Sorry.
The debate went very well for both. So I had to label it a draw. What about you?
Yeah, I labeled it a draw. You know, I thought Obama had a little more style than Romney did this time, but I thought Romney's points were a little bit still more on track.
Okay, now riddle me this.
Okay.
Do you believe that you're saying, how do I phrase this? Do you think it's possible you think he had more style this time because he had such a poor showing the first time?
And that's part of it, too, is, you know, the comparison. And I went back and I watched a couple of the 08 debates, and I thought the second time around, he was close to that. I still don't think as good as he was in 08. I think 08, he just, everything.
Oh wait, he didn't have a record to run on. So
right,
and
that's
all
hard.
he had was bullshit to throw at.
Right, and that's hard to defend that with some of the stuff that he has to defend. I mean, let's look at it: energy, Libya, foreign policy that's failing miserably. Libya. I mean, right now, yeah.
The deficit, the economy. I mean, he cannot defend. There's not a lot that he can defend. He has to.
Healthcare.
What? Yeah, you see, ISA is issuing subpoenas on their healthcare.
I know.
Thing. Different.
Well,
story.
yeah,
We'll
it's next week's show.
We have time to get into that. But the reason I say it's a draw is because I didn't compare Obama this week to Obama last debate. I compared Obama to Romney directly.
Right.
And
which is how it should be.
It should be. I think a lot of pundits are comparing Obama to how he was in his first debate versus Romney and how he was in his first debate. Romney stayed the same.
Yeah.
Which was it's a high caliber performance.
I'll tell you, he has.
So, but because it's kind of like, you have a high caliber team performing the same all along, and that becomes the norm or the expectation.
Right.
Whereas Obama had a pretty high caliber performance also, and he had such a horrible outing the first time that it seems even more stellar.
Well,
but compared to Romney, they were on par with each other.
They were, and one of the, you always hear these different theories as to what happens. Somebody said too that the first one he being the president, maybe went a little soft because he was already starting to slip, and he knew he'd need a big bounce. And these debates cause big bounces. Usually, if one candidate like Romney did the first night hits a home run, he got a humongous bounce in the polls out of that.
Absolutely.
And now, they're neck and neck in a lot of polls. Gallup has Romney ahead. So some people almost said that they wanted to. He wanted to let Romney kind of throw as much as he could out, have his best debate in the first one, and hopefully clean him out in the last two, which is not going to happen.
Well, I don't think
that was his strategy
I don't think that
either.
was
I just think he was having a bad night.
I think that was somebody on the left saying, "Oh, well, there's got to be
there's a million different excuses why he didn't have it the first night. He just didn't have it.
No.
This one, he was much more on point, but Romney wasn't off point. And we're going to get into the clips. The energy clip, I love.
We'll get to it. Romney is not going to slip in these polls. He's not going to lose ground on Obama if he keeps performing at this same
Not
caliber.
at all.
He's not. And I think a report came out that women's issues, I know, is a hot button issue right now. Which first of all,
I have that.
I have no problem with that. Look, here's
so taken out of context. Why all the time now?
Why is women's issues a specific issue? Now, that in and of itself, is that not offensive? Because why do women care only about a couple particular issues? What, women don't care about the economy? Women don't care about the housing market?
In the press,
women don't
in the
care
mainstream
about
media
jobs?
press,
Women don't care about
the Obama administration. I know.
Don't interrupt my rant
right
now. Okay. Women care about all these other things, the direction of the country. So are these guys so sexist to believe that, women's issues, we only have to focus on these? Because women don't really care about the rest
when you
of the
create
stuff.
the problem, you can kind of articulate how it's going to go. They created the war on women, for the most part.
Who's they?
The left.
What do you mean, those people?
The left created the war on women. So they can dictate what the ground rules are. Not they shouldn't be able to, but they do.
They dictate?
Yeah. The mainstream media kisses their ass on it. And
why are you pointing that little sausage finger at me?
Because I knew where you were going.
No.
I knew where you were going. And then they kind of make the you're killing me.
I said dictate.
You're killing me tonight.
I didn't say dictate. I said dictate.
That's why I just said stop. See?
What?
You can't help yourself. But to get back to my point, they set the narrative, and then everybody else has to respond to it, which is disgusting to me. And actually, I'm going to see if I can find it real quick. I want to play one clip about from Romney at the dinner when he goes after mainstream media, because it really sums it up on a great it sums it up.
Because what other safeguard do we have besides the press? And now, I never suggest that the press is biased. I recognize they have their job to do, and I have my job to do. My job is to lay out a positive vision for the future of the country, and their job is to make sure no one else finds out about it. Let's just say that some in the media have a certain way of looking at things. When suddenly I pulled ahead in some of the major polls, what was the headline? Polls show Obama leading from behind. And I've already seen early reports from tonight's dinner. Headline, Obama embraced by Catholics. Romney dines with rich people.
So I thought that was great. So we're up against a break. So here's what we're gonna do. Why don't we take a break?
Hang on. I want to take one more.
No, just like Crowley, I'm gonna cut you off before you can make an important point.
Wait, what?
What?
I want to make one more point about the women's issues thing. You know, I've heard it termed women's rights before, and I take exception with that.
Okay.
Women don't have any more rights than men.
It should be human rights.
Rights are given to us by God. Everybody has the same rights. Nobody should have more rights or other rights or different rights than anybody else, especially in this country. So when the debate is framed that way and those terms are used, I take umbrage. That's my word of the night. I take umbrage.
Well, somebody got a new calendar and
yep, not a big deal. It's a new app on my phone.
Here's what we do. We're going to take a break.
Peace out, folks.
Take a break. The phone number is 347-205-9399 if you want to join the show. We'll be back in a minute. We'll pick up on the debate.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey folks, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making this country and our communities a better and safer place. God bless.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school boards, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, POLITIGAL Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PoliticalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PoliticalNetwork.com or Twitter at PoliticalUSA.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I know I've said it before. Check out our friends at ConservativeOutcry.net, but I really mean it. If you want interesting and exciting political commentary and analysis, that is the place to get it. Different, always spot on, always truthful, never pulling a punch. ConservativeOutcry.net. Tell Rooster to get Bulldog back on and that Sackheads Radio sent you. And also, coming soon, the Sackheads Radio Forum on ConservativeOutcry.net.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to HomefrontHugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women in uniform of the armed forces. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our... God.
You going to mention me this time?
Thank you, Sean. Good. You said mention you, right?
Oh.
You totally need to keep that as an outtake.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
So anyways, then I say, look, Mr. President,
we're back.
Oh, okay.
So welcome
sorry.
back to the show. 347-205-9399 is the phone number. So just before the break, you were talking about the war on women and your comment of, how it's human rights and not necessarily women's rights and how...
I don't even like human rights. It sounds too leftist.
All right. It's our God-given
rights.
rights. I agree.
Yeah.
But we're all people. We all deserve the same one way or the other.
This just makes me want to give somebody a hug right now.
And here's amazingly, Romney.
You're wearing Birkenstock.
I know. Again, I can't help myself. Romney was talking the other night about how when he was governor of Massachusetts, the amount of women that he had in his cabinet, and how there was a poll done.
Whoa, like he's a mass murderer?
No,
like he just keeps them in their cabinet, like a rape kit, or
his gubernatorial cabinet.
I don't care what kind of cabinet it is. I don't know who makes it.
Anyhow, so here's the comment that the left is blowing up right now.
Governor Romney, pay equity for women.
Thank you, and important topic, and one which I learned a great deal about, particularly as I was serving as governor of my state, because I had the chance to pull together a cabinet, and all the applicants seemed to be men. And I went to my staff and I said, how come all the people for these jobs are all men? They said, well, these are the people that have the qualifications. And I said, well, gosh, can't we find some women that are also qualified? And so we took a concerted effort to go out and find women who had backgrounds that could be qualified to become members of our cabinet. I went to a number of women's groups and said, can you help us find folks? And they brought us whole binders full of women. I was proud of the fact that after I staffed my cabinet and my senior staff, that the University of New York in Albany did a survey of all 50 states and concluded that mine had more women in senior leadership positions than any other state in America.
So again, when he said he had a binder, he just meant of applications. And
no, it's clear what he meant, and it's the big deal of it. Obviously, is the left trying to draw the fire away from the president's administration and the things he's facing in Libya right now, and to try and get some other dirt on Romney. I think anybody who watched the debate or listens to the clip in its entirety, I don't think it's gaining any traction anywhere. I really don't.
No,
I don't think it's gaining traction.
It just boggles my mind how they can pick up on one thing like that and try to run with it. I know the mainstream media right now is grasping at straws to get anything they can.
They are.
Because their guys getting beat up right now in the polls.
Well, I'm going to beat him up over that comment right now, but for a completely different reason.
Right.
I took that comment another way, and the reason I took, ready for it, umbrage. The reason I took umbrage with it, I didn't like that comment, was, okay, so he had people, it sounded like to me, and I could be mistaken because I didn't have a chance to question him further on it, obviously. He had a binder or applications of individuals who applied for positions.
Yes.
No women applied for positions.
You're about to make the exact same statement that the Exceptional Conservative Show in the chat room is making. Okay. You haven't read it, so they don't know it.
No, I have not. I'm not looking at the screen.
I can guarantee you're going exactly where they are.
I'm not looking at the screen. So, but why is he seeking out people who have not applied for a position just to fill a certain quota or to meet a certain demographic or to meet some kind of political gain, as opposed to hiring whoever the best applicant was? And if it was a woman, it's a woman. If it's an African American, it's an African American. If it's, a white guy, it's a white guy. Whatever it is, why do you have to seek out? I have problems with anybody
who's finding specific
reasons. So I need women. I need an African American. I need a Hawaiian. I need a purple guy. Whatever it is.
I need Asian.
Right. No, I have issue with that. And so the fact that he made that statement has me question. It's one of the concerns I have for him. Where does he stand on this whole issue of affirmative action or mandating specific staffing levels, or why is it we can't take the best applicant? Hey, you know what? If I have X number of applications and my best applicants are all women, that's who I'm hiring. If my best applicants are all African American women, that's who I'm hiring. If my best applicants are all white male adults, that's who I'm hiring.
And I agree. However, being in Massachusetts at the time, and remember affirmative action had an uber stronghold, I don't know if there was some sort of federal quota that he had to by law follow.
But if
I don't
people
know.
don't apply, they don't apply.
But I don't agree
and the fact
that federal quota is in position.
And he's bringing this up in a presidential
race,
which is going to affect. I mean, that's not even a state issue. And you know, I'm a huge states' rights proponent. This is a national issue. So is he going to bring these policies on to the national level? And I'm not a woman, so maybe I have the wrong perspective on this. But if I were a woman, I think I would be questioning that. Hey, why did you have to seek women out?
Right.
You know, why didn't women apply? And are we such a frail species to where we need you to reach out to us because we're incapable of putting an application in ourselves? I mean, I don't know. I didn't like.
Not where I grew up.
look, I support Romney. I support him because I fear where our country is going to be if we continue with Obama. However, I take issue with some of Romney's policies, and that's one issue I took with him for the night. And I think if the left or if anybody were to spin that comment in that way, and of course I put a conservative spin on it, but if a conservative spins that comment that way, I can understand that. I can't understand well, I've got a finder full of women. It's kind of like when I was making that joke, well, I've got a cabinet full of women.
Whatever.
It's the same.
The whole point, I think, goes back to mainstream media forcing this faux war on women that they've created, and now as the president, as a presidential candidate rather, it forces him to have to respond because the people that follow mainstream media and buy their junk want to hear that topic.
I'm sorry, you said buy your junk. And
buy their junk, the mainstream media crap that's shoved down their throat.
You know, I would have preferred him, instead of making a point that he had to go out and seek out women to hire because none applied, I think he could have said, listen, I put together a cabinet that had more women, blah, 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 and left it at that, as opposed to saying, that's how I would have handled it.
I understand that, but I think the politics, the narrative that's out there in politics, he had to make it seem that it was an overt effort because he's getting beat up by the mainstream media. I don't think people are buying it anymore. The mainstream media has been beating him up over women's issues.
They have, but he's still been gaining grounds in the polls.
I understand that.
I disagree that he had to make that statement.
I think he had to make it.
I disagree. He was already gaining ground with the women vote and the younger vote because of the first debate.
Right.
He had the ground gained.
Right.
By making that statement, it served no purpose other than to open up questions now from the left,
right,
and people that want to question affirmative action on the right, which nobody on the right's doing either. To be fair,
affirmative action's going to the Supreme Court here shortly.
It is, but nobody on the right is bringing it up from that point of view, like we just did, because they don't want to hit Romney right now, and that's not necessarily fair either. And we pride ourselves with, hey, we have a conservative spin, but be fair. So,
yeah, no, like I said, I feel that the narrative has forced him to do it, and whether I agree with why he's doing it or not, I think politically...
This is an opinion show.
I know.
Have an opinion.
Do
you agree with that he needed to do it?
I agree that he needed to do it politically.
Okay.
I don't agree with the fact that he should have done it in practice.
All right. And I disagree that he needed to do it politically because he was already gaining grounds, and we agree that he...
Yeah, no, he is absolutely gaining ground.
All right.
But I think he's looking to boost the female vote. And I think he's trying to show, because they've hammered him so bad on women's rights issue, that I think he's trying to show. I think he's trying to show that it's on the forefront of his mind. Okay. I don't necessarily like the fact that he has to, but that's the case we're at.
Okay. What other clips we got? Let's play the energy. Let's get to the energy policy.
Yeah. So at one point they went to energy, and let's see here.
Well, we have a caller.
I love it when we look at me like that. Let's play the energy thing, and then we're gonna go. Why do you look at me like that? We're gonna take the call after the energy.
Why don't we?
Oil production is up, natural gas production is up, and most importantly, we're also starting to build cars that are more efficient. And that's creating jobs. That means those cars can be exported because that's the demand around the world. And it also means that it'll save money in your pocketbook. That's the strategy you need, an all-of-the-above strategy, and that's what we're going to do in the next 4 years.
But that's not what you've done in the last 4 years. That's the problem. In the last 4 years, you cut permits and licenses on federal land and federal waters in half.
Not true, Governor Romney.
So how much did you cut them by?
Not true.
By how much did you cut them by then?
Governor, we have actually produced more oil.
No. How much did you cut licenses and permits on federal land and federal waters?
Governor Romney, here's what we did. There were a whole bunch of oil companies.
No, I had a question, and the question was, how much did you cut them by?
You want me to answer
How much did you cut them by?
I'm happy to answer the question.
All right, and it is?
Here's what happened. You had a whole bunch of oil companies who had leases on public lands that they weren't using. So what we said was, you can't just sit on this for 10, 20, 30 years, decide when you want to drill, when you want to produce, when it's most profitable for you. These are public lands. So if you want to drill on public lands, you use it or you lose it.
Okay,
and so what we did was take away those leases, and we are now reletting them so that we can actually make a profit.
And production on government land is down.
No, it isn't.
Production on government land of oil is down 14%,
Governor,
and production on gas is down 9%.
It's just not true.
It's absolutely true. Look, there's no question but that the people recognize that we have not produced more oil and gas on federal lands and in federal waters. And coal production is not up. Coal jobs are not up. I was just at a coal facility where some 1,200 people lost their jobs. The right course for America is to have a true all-of-the-above policy. I don't think anyone really believes that you're a person who's going to be pushing for oil and gas and coal. You'll get your chance in a moment. I'm still speaking.
Well,
and the answer is, I don't believe people think that's the case, because that wasn't a question.
Okay.
That was a statement. I don't think the American people believe that. I will fight for oil, coal, and natural gas. And the proof of whether a strategy is working or not is what the price is that you're paying at the pump. If you're paying less than you paid a year or two ago, why then the strategy is working. But you're paying more. When the president took office, the price of gasoline here in Nassau County was about $1.86 a gallon. Now it's $4 a gallon. Price of electricity is up. If the president's energy policies are working, you're going to see the cost of energy come down. I will fight to create more energy in this country to get America energy secure. And part of that is bringing in a pipeline of oil from Canada, taking advantage of the oil and coal we have here, drilling offshore in Alaska, drilling offshore in Virginia where the people want it. Those things will get us the energy we need.
How come nobody ever talks about nuclear anymore?
Why?
Nuclear, it's
why would you even bring that up?
Because he talked about coal, and he talked about gas, and he talked about wind and solar. Yeah. Why not nuclear?
Well,
it's clean
the
energy.
Ultimate taboo.
That's bullshit. No, it's clean. It's efficient.
Yeah.
It's very safe.
But
except
it's
for when
taboo.
It spills. Exactly. But
the
why?
Hippies hate it.
The hippies. Romney's not a hippie. At least he shouldn't be. He's a conservative candidate.
So
he's
he
a
made that
Republican
statement,
candidate.
and I'm going to branch off here a little bit.
No, hang on. I'm still complaining about this. We're talking about this clip.
Right. I'm going to stay on the clip.
Okay. I think Romney missed an opportunity. I think he should have thrown nuclear in there. Also, the president was right. He did not cut half of the drilling permits.
Well,
it was 62%.
Right.
62 or 64, I don't recall. It was 60.
And then I love this.
So the president was right.
I did not absolutely right.
Permit.
He did not lie.
He did not. So we fact-checked that, and the president was correct. He did not cut half of the permits on federal lands. He cut over 60%.
And the other thing that he's like, hey, private business had those leases. They weren't doing anything. They weren't doing anything, so we took them away. You don't use them, you lose them. So another attack on private business.
Well, I would say that's
they
more
paid for those leases.
Yeah, but
so
he
to take them away. Yeah.
Listen, he's the government, okay? And I don't know what country you think you're in, but in a country where people wear Che Guevara and Mao on their shirts and purses, it makes perfect sense that the government would do that.
That's like your Mao hat, but I love it when you wear it in the studio.
Actually, the hat I'm wearing right now, because none of you can see, the hat I'm wearing right now over my paper bag, it actually says infidel across the top.
I can vouch for it.
In English, in big, bold letters, and it says it in Arabic right underneath.
So this sparked the best line. Now, we all know Chris Matthews is crazy. Oh, by the way, somebody in the chat room said, as long as you don't build something effective, as long as you don't build nuclear power plants on fault lines, that shouldn't be too bad.
You know what? Have a SAC. Build it on a fault line. You know why? Because San Francisco's on a fault line, and that's exactly where I want to put one that's going to fail.
But Chris Matthews, being crazy as it is, after that last time where Romney told the president he had to wait his turn or something to that effect,
oil
said this.
and gas and coal. You'll get your chance in a moment. I'm still speaking. And the answer is I don't believe people think that's the case because that wasn't a question. Okay. That was a statement.
You know, a couple points. I don't think he understands the Constitution of the United States. He's the President of the United States. You don't say you'll get your chance. And secondly, under the...
So,
well, he doesn't understand the...
No, wait. Let me set this up because I know you're going to lose it.
Oh,
I
my
love
God.
It.
All right.
You've read the Constitution.
Once or twice.
I've read the Constitution.
Once or twice.
Sacco, you probably read it in high school, which wasn't too long ago for you. However...
If you haven't, you're fired.
However... Where in the Constitution does it say during a presidential debate you may not, and you know you can quote almost every part of the Constitution, one of my go-to guys for constitutional information. Where in it does it say?
Here's the thing. The President of the United States is not a
Will you answer the question?
king.
Will you answer the question?
Is not, listen. Oh, my God, Chris Matthews. Dude, I'm so stunned now.
I have that just for you. I knew this was going to drive you insane. I win tonight. Hey, let's take a caller. Are you ready to take a caller? We're going to take a caller anyhow. Hey, Rooster, you're on the air with Sackheads Radio. Everyone who doesn't know Rooster, he's our friend from Conservative Outcry.
You know what? I'm on it. Chris Matthews, officially, you're invited to come in on Sackheads Radio.
Oh, yeah.
And to have a debate on the Constitution.
Yeah.
Because you fat fuck, I want to know exactly where you read in the Constitution that you know so well that the President of the United States cannot be questioned. Because last time I checked, Chris Matthews, he works for the people, which is us, including you, unfortunately.
I guess we'll be marking this show explicit tonight.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, good.
So he has to answer to the people, and Mitt Romney is also one of the people. He's not an aristocrat. He's not a king. He can be talked to in that manner. And
you're in a debate. That's normal.
I'm not in a debate.
Well, they were in a debate.
They were in a debate. So Chris Matthews, again, please come on Sackheads Radio. You're invited.
We'd love to have you.
We'd love to have you in debate.
You know what I'll do to him? I'll do to him what he does to every single person.
What do you yell over him?
As soon as somebody says something he doesn't agree with, I'm just going to scream at him till he hangs up. I don't care if it's the entire show.
Really?
Yeah. I hate Chris Matthews.
You know what? He cannot have an intelligent conversation.
Did we
an
take
intelligent
a call?
debate? Yeah, but he can hang on.
They said it might not be in the Constitution, but it's in the Communist Manifesto edition of the Constitution.
Nice work. Who said that?
That was exceptional conservative show in the chat room.
You know what? I want where I just called Chris Matthews a fat fuck. I'm going to apologize for my language tonight, folks. I'm in rare form, but I want that looped on a commercial.
With the beat. Sacco, you're on that
with
this
the
week.
beat. So
Hey.
I want that looped on a commercial, and I want it pushed out on YouTube.
Hey, Rooster?
Hey, who's in the chat room? Only Isaac in the chat room.
What's up, Rooster?
How are you, buddy?
Oil, coal, natural gas, nuclear, wind energy, as long as you keep those air conditioners running, because I like my women cold.
I always knew you were into necrophilia.
And you know what? Give them all birth control, because I remember back when I was growing up, that was the first question out of my mouth. Are you on the pill?
Hey, Rooster.
You gotta just piss them off. I mean, if you're gonna get pissed off about some minor thing, just piss them off and say, hey, you know what, you got nice tits there.
Hey,
look
Sean,
right in Candy Crowley's face, because you know she's the next shave her armpits.
Sean is in studio right now, just so you know, waving the French battle flag. It's a white T-shirt, and I don't know why he's waving it in the air, but he's waving his French battle flag for some reason tonight.
Well,
who are we going to piss off? The militant, lesbian, left-wing
Nobody's listening
party
anyway.
of the Democratic.
Anyway.
Sorry, two people are listening tonight. No, you know why? And I'll tell you why, Rooster. Is for the first time in a long time, we set up a show schedule. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're not going to miss this topic. We're going to stay on that. We're not even close tonight. That's why I'm throwing up the flag. Clint's gone and done what Clint does.
What do I do?
And he just takes us on paths that we weren't even beginning to go down.
Hang on a second. You played that fat fuck, top of the hut looking motherfucker.
I haven't played
Pardon
Candy.
my French.
I haven't played Candy Crowley yet.
Top of the hut.
Hey, Rooster. Hey, Rooster.
Chewbacca's in the in the audience.
Rooster, I know you called in with a reason, my friend. What is that reason tonight? And I know
I
it's
didn't call for a reason. I just had to get that in there. You know, I like women. I like looking at their breasts. I like it when they wear short skirts. You know, and if you walk out looking like a hooker, I'm going to look at you because you look like a hooker.
Are you talking to me specifically?
Yeah, I look at you too. I don't care.
Because I will rock a pair of high heels in a minute.
Oh.
So no.
Hey,
you know, he's not pissing anybody off. The only one that's pissed off right now is probably Chaz Bono.
Hey, Rooster, don't do that when he's drinking coffee. I hate having to wipe coffee off my face.
No,
coffee.
You guys sound great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're
It's my deep voice.
It's his melodic voice.
No, you in the new studio?
No, you must have. We'll tell you off the air.
Hey, thanks for tuning in late.
Yeah.
I'm on a cell phone. I'm not even in Maryland tonight.
Hey, somebody in the chat room says that you get the Sandra Fluke Award for this call. So just so you know, Rooster.
Yeah,
hey,
Sandra
Rooster,
Fluke used to be sent to jail and get grudge fucked to death.
Well, then it looks
and you know
like
what?
I'm definitely
and Steve,
over 18.
Steve Eva Longoria, and tell her I said it.
Everyone, that was Rooster from ConservativeOutcry.net calling in. Hey, Rooster, as we talked about last week, what Hillary would do, and we're going to jump ahead because this is in our next segment, but while I have you on the phone, with Libya.
She already did it.
Yeah. Yeah, she, and not what you were really expecting, huh?
No, I think she did because you saw what got released to Fox tonight. They didn't even put up a fight when they released all those papers.
Yeah, well, what she said on CNN was, and I have the interview, we're going to play it later on, how, the buck stops here. It sounds to me that she made the 3 a.m. phone call, and I don't want to get into it too much, and it wasn't answered. And now she's taking the heat for it.
But I also think that she knows that this stuff is all going to come out in the wash in the end. And so she can take the heat for it and say, well, yeah, I was standing up because I was in charge, so I tried to accept my responsibility. But I think she understands that this is all going to come out anyways.
Well, I still think Bill's going to come out. But, oh, well. Bill's not going to let her take the fall. But he's already lost the election. It's going to be Libya, the entire debate on Monday night, and he's lost the election. And I want to see him sweat.
When Obama brought up the 47% the other night, I just wanted Romney to yell Libya in his face over and over and over again.
You know what? I have to give the president props for bringing that up at the end because that was very. I think it was
the way he timed it.
Romney wasn't going to have a chance at rebuttal. He nailed it. He listed down. I thought it was a very good closing for the president. I really did, and I think that was kind of a good punch to Romney.
Yeah, it wasn't the punch I thought. I wasn't expecting it the way he did it. I figured it'd come out really early with that in the debate.
But the way he did it didn't allow Romney a chance to respond. I think it was placed perfectly. Actually,
and we're wrapping up here the last 3 minutes with our debate talk. But on the next one, what do you think?
Hey guys, I got to go.
All right.
You guys have fun. And by the way, did you guys think that the Allen dinner was a little more fighting than normal this year?
Yeah, and I thought Romney was 10 times better. I thought he was much funnier.
I liked it, and I noticed you said you were on a cell phone and you had to go really quick, so I hope you don't get a ticket. I'll talk to you later, Rooster.
Rooster,
all right, see you guys.
Thanks, Rooster.
I wonder if he got pulled over for talking on his cell phone. That's why he had to go so quick.
I have no idea.
That would be awesome.
So the next one's foreign policy.
We're not
for the next debate. The final debate's going to be all about foreign policy.
Correct.
So,
but
this is
we're gonna, and I think it's gonna. If Romney's smart, he's gonna focus on Libya. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after the break. We'll come back. We're gonna be talking about Libya. I think which will be a perfect setup for the foreign policy debate.
Absolutely. We'll take your calls too. 347-205-9399. This is Sackheads Radio.
Back in a minute.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey folks, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making this country and our communities a better and safer place. God bless.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brink about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school boards, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, Politigal Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PoliticalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PoliticalNetwork.com or Twitter at PoliticalUSA.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I know I've said it before. Check out our friends at conservativeoutcry.net, but I really mean it. If you want interesting and exciting political commentary and analysis, that is the place to get it. Different, always spot on, always truthful, never pulling a punch. conservativeoutcry.net. Tell Rooster to get Bulldog back on and that Sackheads Radio sent you. And also, coming soon, the Sackheads Radio Forum on conservativeoutcry.net.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to HomefrontHugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women in uniform of the armed forces. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our... God.
You going to mention me this time?
Thank you, Sean. You said mention you, right?
Oh.
You totally need to keep that as an outtake.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
And we are back. Trying to get a grip on this room right now is pretty damn funny. So that was the debate. The next one's coming up this week. It's going to be about foreign policy, and one of the biggest ones is probably going to be Libya, which we're going to jump into right now. Libya, listen, this ain't going away.
Like literally we're jumping into Libya. Like we're flying over Libya right now. Sean's got his parachute on.
As much as the president wishes this would go away, it's not going to go away. I just read an article in The Blaze. CIA chief in Libya reported to Washington within 24 hours of the attack at the U.S. consulate that there was evidence that it was carried out by militants and not a spontaneous mob within 24 hours.
Shocking.
And yet, they continued to go on the air for, 2 weeks afterwards, 12 days I think it was, and try to keep bringing up the spontaneous mob that showed up, and then all of a sudden it turned into a rock. And then they reversed their position and said, oh, well, you know what, we finally looked into the evidence, and now it kind of looks like that the initial attack was with rocket-propelled grenades.
Look, the president went
What did I just say?
Rocket-propelled
I don't
grenades.
know. You talk.
I don't know. I mean, the president went on The View, and Jay Carney, that spin master, he was talking about this video. The ambassador, first of all, I'm sure all of our listeners know, but I want to touch on it anyways. Ambassador Stevens is the first U.S. ambassador to be killed since 1979.
Correct.
Jimmy Carter's administration.
Yes.
This is a big deal. This isn't even just. I mean, anytime you have 4 Americans killed in a foreign country, it's a big deal. But this is a major deal. This is a United States ambassador assassinated in a foreign country with a coordinated terrorist attack on U.S. soil, meaning on embassy soil.
Right.
It's a big deal, and Obama kind of touched on how big a deal it was in the debate because he was trying to cover up his ineptness, I think.
Yeah.
I had to greet the caskets. Yeah, well, if you weren't fucking asleep on the job, you wouldn't have to greet those cabinets.
Yeah.
Those caskets. If you weren't maybe denying those security requests or whoever did, those caskets maybe wouldn't be coming home. And to hear him say that, do you have the clip?
Which one?
For that, the one where he's talking about Libya greeting the caskets. I know we had it at one point.
Yeah, I don't have it up anymore.
Okay.
It's out there.
And when Romney called him on it at the end of the debate, and then Monica Crowley, the fucking female version of Chris Matthews look-alike, she kind of cut him off and did damage control for Obama, which is weird because I think wasn't Obama at her. Anyway,
something to do with the wedding.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a conspiracy theorist. But then she ended up having to come out and do a retraction or I wasn't entirely right.
Yeah, so Romney pretty much said, hey, something to the effect of, hey, you knew and you covered it up and you went back on and you never said terrorist when you were in the Rose Garden the next day. He said he did. She interrupted and agreed with the president. And then she was on CNN later, and she said that.
Let's bring in Candy, though. Candy, because this was a moment which obviously now both campaigns are going to be focusing on. Tell us your thoughts during that moment.
Well, again, I'd heard the president's speech at the time. I sort of reread a lot of stuff about Libya because I knew we'd probably get a Libya question, so I kind of wanted to be up on it. So I knew that the president had said, these acts of terrorism won't stand, or whatever the whole quote was. And I think actually, because right after that, I did turn around and say, but you're totally correct, that they spent 2 weeks telling us this was about a tape, and that there was this riot outside the Benghazi consulate, which there wasn't. So he was right in the main. I just think he picked the wrong word. And they're going to parse, and we all know about what the definition of is, but in the end, I think John's probably right. I think this has a lot.
So here's the quote from the Rose Garden.
So she retracted it, but didn't say it was correct. She retracted and said, "Well, it was his wording that I thought was wrong."
Right. Well, of course she's going to say that. She's kind of a shill, but there is kind of a retraction there. And here's the direct quote. What the president said, and this is after he's talking about. Anyways. He says, no acts of terror will ever shake the resolve of this great nation, alter that character, or eclipse the light of the values that we stand for. He didn't say, look, this was a terrorist attack.
Right.
We will find out who did this.
Right.
We are going to find the people and hunt them down and bring them to justice or hunt them down and get them. He sent the FBI in and treated it like a criminal investigation, like a crime scene, which we talked about on previous shows. But that's what he said. He made a very generic, very generalized statement about the nature of terror and that no terror act will basically be stood for or shake our resolve as a nation. He didn't mention this act specifically or call this act terrorism. He was speaking in very general terms. And whether he meant to do that or not, that can be debated perhaps. I know, the left is going to say, well, he said no act of terror because it was a reference to this. The right is saying, well, no, he was – and look, he was talking about it generally. That's the quote.
This whole thing's showing up to be an unfortunate truth for the president. He doesn't want to admit it, but there. It happened. Everyone knows it happened. And, people are getting mad on the left when they're trying to say – when we say it's a cover-up, and I say it's a cover-up, I don't know if you agree with that statement, but I think he knew this would be terrible for his election. I knew it's going to make him look weak on foreign policy. His administration dropped the ball. The attack happened, and he didn't even own it. I think
he did. He owned it in the debate. He said, "I take responsibility." The buck side. He did say that.
I understand.
To be fair,
but he didn't own it in the first 12 days.
Of course not. And
he also owned it after the fact that he knew he could not disprove the spontaneous.
And if anybody,
or he could not prove the spontaneous.
If anybody believes that we had a United States ambassador assassinated, and the President of the United States did not know exactly what was going on in the intelligence community with the State Department, with everybody else, when you have something of that magnitude happen, I believe you're just ignorant or blind, or both, blind to the facts. So, and another point that demonstrates that even though the President said no acts of terror, again, speaking very generically, will shake the resolve of this nation, blah, 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 that he wasn't referring to Benghazi or calling Benghazi a terrorist attack specifically, is the fact that he didn't call it a terrorist attack specifically, again, for 12 days.
Right.
If this quote from his Rose Garden speech before he went to his Vegas fundraiser was calling Benghazi a terrorist attack, then that would have been his narrative for the consecutive 11 days.
Yeah.
And it was not.
And if he was going to be strong on it to that regard, he would have thrown it out immediately, stuck with it, knowing, even if he did it for a political reason, which I disagree with, knowing these debates were coming up and he was going to get hammered on it, he was hoping, hope and change, he was hoping that it would change, and not be the truth that it is, and he'd be able to wiggle around it. And it's not, and it's sad.
You know, I think it also gave him a good opportunity to go to the United Nations like he did, and start pushing through some world limitation on speech, treaty stuff, and at least open the dialogue to maybe now where we can limit speech on certain things. Look, the president is a progressive. He's got Cass Sunstein as his regulatory czar. I'm not naive enough to think that he's a very intelligent man. I'm not naive enough to think that he doesn't do things for a purpose. What's the purpose of blaming a video and then talking about speech and, well, we need to control some speech and, well, some speech is bad, but we love the First Amendment and freedom of speech, if you're not trying to nudge people in a specific direction? How'd you like that segue?
No, I think it's absolutely perfect, and I think it's true. I think it's very true.
And for those of you who do not know who Cass Sunstein is or what we're talking about, Cass Sunstein is Obama's regulatory czar, and he wrote a book called Nudge, which talks about basically getting the population, people to do what you want them to do or what he wants them to do by framing choices. Because when presented with a couple options, people will pick one of the options and not go off topic. So as long as all the options you present are acceptable to you, you can basically frame and
well, you pick the lesser of the evils.
Direction. Anyways, it's kind of an evil book, I think, just because that's not what our country is based on, and that person is an advisor to the president.
Right. And I mean,
but I'm getting off topic. But I think are
we going to talk about Cloud and Piven next?
I saw Ghostbusters today.
It's a great movie.
The librarian.
Yeah, absolutely.
Piven.
She looks just like that librarian. It's so scary.
So
I hadn't even checked her on the International Movie Database to see if she was the extra that played the role.
So I think that there's a reason why there's a more nefarious reason why perhaps that was coming up. I think it opened up some other opportunities, and now it's kind of crashing down around him. What I don't understand is, does he really believe that the American public was that stupid to where we would not find out that it was, in fact, a coordinated terrorist attack?
Well, and sometimes maybe I'm a little naive, but it's one of our embassies, and it's in a really bad place.
It's in a really bad part of town.
It is. And I am under the impression that somewhere like that would be well protected, safe, as we do not want our diplomats abroad to be attacked, mauled, and killed. We learned our lesson in '79, I think it was.
With Jimmy Carter's administration. And he was a foreign policy whiz-bang, wasn't he?
Guy nailed it. And
Obama's a lot like that.
I'll tell you, both terms, Carter was...
he was one term. Weird.
So when that happened, and immediately somebody said, wow, they got into our consulate and they killed 4 Americans. My couple questions were, I know that the Marines usually, most places that are in foreign bad places, they have their own special squad that's assigned to protection.
Embassy duty.
Yeah, embassy duty. I know usually we have coordination with some locals. I understand it's Libya, and at the time they're still in that tumultuous thing of not being a country.
Well, and their government, they should be very trustworthy because Obama helped topple that old regime and put this new one in.
The ambassador was key involved in it.
So they should love Huh, weird.
Well,
yeah, never mind. Forget I said anything. Oh, it's in Egypt who loves us because
right.
they...
And then to find out that inside this particular...
Forget I said anything.
This particular base, there was a total of 6 American guards that were there. There was a bunch of Libyan guards, but they weren't armed, which I don't understand that. And
they weren't well trained.
These guys crashed the front gates immediately. We all know what happened after the fact. RPGs having machine gun fire. They got the ambassador into the safe house. He was with him and Sean Smith were with one of the American protection agents, and they got cornered and they lit the building on fire. And that is ultimately where it just went from bad to absolutely atrocious. Well, but here's the funny part.
Okay.
We were warned something like this could happen.
The British convoy was attacked.
Well, the British convoy
a couple weeks before.
Right. The
embassy wall was.
They made a test run with the embassy wall. I'm talking before that. Here's Ron Paul, almost a year ahead of time, Dr. Paul, on September 7th, 2011, doing an interview with Camelot Radio. It's about 55 seconds. Have a listen.
So wait and see in a year how much chaos we have there and who's benefiting from the oil.
But are you happy to see Gaddafi out?
Sure. I mean...
but you don't think that the way it was done was correct?
Well, I don't think that our CIA should have orchestrated it and buy into it and set the conditions right for the Al-Qaeda. See, we had no Al-Qaeda was in Iraq before the war. Now there is. There'll be Al-Qaeda. As bad as these dictators are, they usually have some type of maintain some type of order because they don't allow Al-Qaeda and other radicals to come in. They want to be the radical dictator. So I think things won't go well here in the next year or two.
It will not go well.
I don't think so. I hope so that it does. Mainly because in Egypt we're just changing one military guy for another military guy.
And so that was a year ago, and he mentions Al-Qaeda. He mentions the fact that it's going to go bad in the next year or two, and he's right.
He is right, and I think something else played into that also. I think Obama is like, I mean, the guy's a progressive. He's a liberal. I don't believe he likes the military. I don't believe he's pro law enforcement. I don't believe, he doesn't like that.
Well, he's not pro Constitution, so how can he support all of those?
Well, the military is a whole other discussion.
Right. Okay. Right.
So I think that he doesn't like he's trying to be friends with the world, which is why he apologizes for us. He wants a global he doesn't like the flags and he likes the global community.
Right.
Kind of like Michelle Obama during the inauguration, like that YouTube video where she mouthed all of this for a damn flag, and he looks back kind of in disgust his head.
Right.
And that guy from the blind or deaf or whatever actually read her lips, and it just slows it down to half speed, and you can see exactly what she's saying. You remember when the media really played that up because it's our new president and first lady? Oh, wait, yeah, no, they didn't.
That didn't
Never
go
mind.
anywhere.
Go to YouTube and check out Michelle Obama.
Just put
all of this for a damn flag.
If you just
and
put,
you'll see what I'm talking about.
damn flag, it comes right up.
But I think he doesn't. He wants to be everybody's friend. He wants to apologize for America, and I think maybe he doesn't want to have a big show of force because it'll show distrust, and we help
the fact that the locals can't run themselves.
Right. We help build this government. They're our friends. We don't want to be threatening. We don't want to show that we distrust. And so we're not going to grant more security forces. I don't want a big show of force there. I don't want a big uniform presence there, whatever the case may be. And which I think that could be part. I'm not saying that's a major part of it, but I think that could be part of it. And I haven't heard anybody talking about that.
No, I completely agree. He doesn't want to offend the quote-unquote host nation. The same reason why he bows and does whatever he does to a lot of other leaders of the world who don't do it to him, by the way. Like they don't salute him. There's nothing. Right. But
would you? I'm surprised the Marines salute him.
I
know they have to.
still respect the office. I don't necessarily respect him as president.
I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I was being facetious.
I know, but
seriously,
I know.
Do you
But
need a hug tonight?
20 years from now, when Chris Matthews is on the show, I don't want him to bring that up and throw it in our face.
I hope he does bring it up because I'll just start screaming at him.
Because we're going to have a special song to play for him.
Yes, we will.
So I agree with you that he doesn't want everyone to be.
Hang on, Sacco, what do you have planned?
I usually do rock.
Let's keep it a surprise.
Okay.
But I trust you because you're very.
You're gonna have to Sokka. Just so everyone knows, we talked during the last break, and Sokka's gonna
just a little bit. I had a rant,
and Sokka's gonna make the Chris Matthews song.
Gonna make a Chris Matthews song.
So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, because if he doesn't, he's not getting a paycheck. I'll tell you that right now.
And we are a non-union establishment.
Well, yeah, no, we won't employ a union.
Oh God, no.
Remember how I made you eat your union card before you walked through the door? There's a reason for that, son. Well, did I say eat? That's not what I meant. Anyhow.
Well, no, it was supposed to come out that end. Not, anyways.
I don't know.
We have it on
try
film,
to ingest it.
but
no, but to get back to a point. Yeah, I agree with you in that regard. I think he's afraid that if we show our American exceptionalism, hey, we have a strong military.
He doesn't believe in American exceptionalism.
I know he doesn't. But if we show, hey, yeah, you know what? We don't think you can do it right, and we're going to do it right with our troops to protect ourselves. He thinks that the other, that just makes me feel icky. It's almost
exactly.
Like
it makes me feel
almost like he's a PR guy instead of a president.
Exactly.
And that's the problem.
He was a community organizer. I'm not saying that to be mean, but that's what the man was. He's a community organizer. He's not. Look how great Chicago is. Yeah, I need to be. You know what they should do? They should start taxing ammunition or something.
In Chicago?
Yeah.
They'd make a fortune off of it.
Look, I should be president. And when I run for president in 2017, is that when I'm running, or 2015?
Oh, you're going in 2015,
okay.
Remember? Because we want to get in on this. Hold on, wait, before you start.
Okay.
President Clinton 2015, ladies and gentlemen.
Why aren't you saluting me? No, with your pants up. Look, I would be like, no, I'm having my Marines there. They're in my embassy. And if any of your people or Al-Qaeda or anybody else tries to come on it, we're going to kick your ass. I'm just throwing it out there.
I agree. It's still American soil.
And not only that, but I would bomb my own embassy just so that they couldn't.
All right,
no, I'm kidding, folks.
Everybody get out.
Yeah, no, they're going to go on my terms, not yours.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. So when I'm running for president, that clip is actually going to be replayed
this
over and over again.
This is an amazing joke to be played at this time. This is perfect.
No. Clint said that he wanted to bomb our own embassy. I'm just going to take him out ourselves.
No, it's one of those things. We have to, at some point, this president can't figure it out. While certain nations, we have.
He doesn't want to. He's smart. He's a very intelligent man.
Right. He has figured it out.
He hasn't figured it out.
He wants to do it his way.
Exactly.
It's just absolutely disgusting. How do you think this is going to affect the debate this week? Do you really think, and I'm hoping that Romney really starts to beat it into the wall on this guy?
Look, I think that, a couple things. I think that we're going to have, obviously, more information is going to come out on this. We have, some Democrats, I think, in the House.
Yeah.
Also asking some hard questions. You know what? They don't want to be thrown out of office either re-election time or have this hung around their neck.
Well, and if they're a true old-fashioned Democrat, then they're just as offended as everybody else in this country.
You know, if you're an American, you're offended.
Yeah, there's some people that
happened. Some people that are not offended, and they just want to advance political agendas and aspirations and so forth, like the president, I believe. But you have some people who are legitimately offended, who absolutely want to find out what happened, members of both parties. And I think more is going to come out. I'll be curious to see when it comes out. I will also be curious to see, and I don't know, so I'm going to admit right off the bat that I'm speaking from a position of some ignorance here, but I'm willing to see if there's anything in there that is going to cause perhaps an impeachment proceedings to be brought against the president. Because if there was a failing that severe, or if there was something he did not do that he was required to do, something that he failed to do that cost an American ambassador to be assassinated, I'm wondering if there is anything there to where impeachment charges can be brought against the president. And again, I'm freely admitting I don't know that. The answer may be no. So for all you bloggers in your mother's basement who are saying, oh yeah, conservative show Sackhead Clint said, no, I'm admitting right now that I don't know all the specifics, all the ins and outs at this time. nor do I have all of the information on this issue. We're not privy to all the intelligence.
Not at all.
Forth. So
some of it.
Wait, what? So I don't know that.
And the Exceptional Conservative Show, who's been in our chat room all night, brought up a really good point too, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. No, I'm just kidding. They said
really?
if we held the House and Senate right now, we could have an impeachment during the lame duck session.
Yeah.
It would go, and it'd probably be slam dunk too.
Well, here's the thing: you have legitimate Democrats. You have Democrats who are legitimately upset at this also. So you could actually have a bipartisan impeachment on this, depending on what comes out, depending on what documents.
Right.
I would be curious if there's any fires burning right now over at the State Department, like late night.
Well, there was. I saw
parties.
a picture on Twitter that there was white smoke coming out of the chimney at the White House. So you don't know what's going in that fireplace. And that was just the other day. Well, and the president's making his rounds, and one of the things he said about Libya this week, he was on the Daily Show with John.
He had a perfect opportunity. Jon Stewart gave the man an out.
Yeah.
And he didn't take it, and I think this is going to come back and bite him.
And he said, if 4 Americans get killed, it's not optimal.
Now, Jon Stewart, the president made a cardinal sin. He allowed his interviewer to put words in his mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And you never want to do that. Jon Stewart said optimal first.
Right.
And Obama, instead of saying, what do you mean not optimal? No, it's a tragedy. It's
right.
an act of war.
Well beyond not optimal.
Yeah.
He heard the words ahead of time.
And he said, well, that sounds like an intelligent word. So I'm just going to repeat that. It's not optimal. And not only that, but he gave him.
I wonder if optimal is going to show up in the next debate.
I would hope
so.
Because
that's kind of a big gaffe.
I would hope so. Jon Stewart also gave him an out on the whole thing, to be able to say, yeah, it was a mistake, or hey, I wanted to make sure of the intelligence before I came out, blah blah blah, and he didn't.
Right.
Obama didn't. He completely backed his same play that he did the night of the debate, and I don't think it's going to bode well for him. And Jon Stewart leans left, and his interviewer gave him an out. And instead of doing that, Obama kind of, didn't chastise him harshly, but almost, a little bit of pushback on it. And so I'm curious to see how that's going to play out.
And Stewart does lean left, and he's hit the.
I feel like he more runs left.
Yeah, I think he dives. What's a faster? I think he Red Bull jumps from a balloon left. Like, I think it's as fast as humanly possible.
Did he break the sound barrier?
He has broken the sound barrier on the left officially.
Okay.
But every now and again, and I think it's kind of one of those things where they look for something to point to later on when somebody's like, oh, you're just a complete leftist. Oh, no, you remember the time I said to the president this little statement? And that's kind of they hang their hat on. This time, if that was any other true media person, they would have went, wait a minute, what do you mean optimal? I could say optimal. I'm sitting on this. I didn't make the call. I can say optimal all I want. Yeah, it's not an optimal situation. As an American watching it, that's not optimal. That's not what I expect out of the government. Right. As the president, how dare you say optimal? 4 American citizens are dead. It was on your watch, and you didn't do anything about it.
Not only that, but you had people watching live. They were watching live. It was. Am I wrong on this? There's testimony saying that no, we had a drone. We were watching.
Well, they had the video from within. They had I think they had a drone.
I think they had a drone up that they were watching live.
That they launched.
And really, and you mean to tell me you, as the president of the United States, had no idea this was going on? You didn't order military action. You didn't. What happened? You
ran to the Situation Room and we were going to get Bin Laden. You were sitting right there. They pulled you off the golf course somehow.
Right.
But when it comes to this, you had no idea, and there was an alert sent to the White House from the CIA.
Within 24 hours.
Well, and inside the embassy itself, at the Situation Desk at the State Department in Washington, when the guard hit the alarm, it goes there. And you can't tell me that they can't turn on the video immediately at the State Department and watch what's going on.
They knew. Look, they knew what was happening. That alarm was sent. Mm-hmm. They knew what was happening. And if you have a United States embassy under attack, I absolutely do not believe for a second that the President of the United States was not fully aware and briefed in on what was happening. And if he was not aware and briefed in, if the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, failed to notify the president and brief him in, then why is the Secretary of State not resigned from office right now?
Yeah.
Why has she not been terminated? Why has the president not come out against her
Right.
harshly? So I think, and I want to know why none of those questions are being asked.
Well, because mainstream media won't ask them.
Of course not. But we are. But, of course, nobody listens to us, so it doesn't matter. Listen, it's top of the hour. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to tie Libya into the Monday's foreign policy debate and discuss
How are we going to do that?
what we could say. I just did it.
Okay. We'll also take calls, mate. 47205-9399, Sackheads Radio.
Back in a minute.
How you doing? John Grant here. When I'm not slaving over a hot microphone on the 405radio.com Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern, I check out Sean and Clint here at Sackheads Radio. We all appreciate the best political bloggers, writers, and commentators. We either get them on our shows or we make fun of them, as it should be. So check us out live Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern or forever on the podcasts on the 405radio.com.
Hey folks, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our first responders, law enforcement, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for making this country and our communities a better and safer place. God bless.
Hi, this is Sarah Marie Brenner. You know, we often talk on the Brenner Brief about the fact that there really needs to be an organization to help people at the local level who are interested in running for things like school boards, city council, and other local offices. Well, I think I finally have the solution for you, at least for you women out there. It's called Politigal Network, Politigal Network.com. Their website's going to be launching mid-August, but they're already on Twitter at PolitigalUSA. I encourage you to follow them and become a member. Their goal is to be the #1 resource for conservative women. So if you love freedom, liberty, the United States of America, and politics, check out PolitigalNetwork.com or Twitter at PolitigalUSA.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I know I've said it before. Check out our friends at conservativeoutcry.net, but I really mean it. If you want interesting and exciting political commentary and analysis, that is the place to get it. Different, always spot on, always truthful, never pulling a punch. conservativeoutcry.net. Tell Rooster to get Bulldog back on and that Sackheads Radio sent you. And also, coming soon, the Sackheads Radio Forum on conservativeoutcry.net.
Hey guys, it's Sean from Sackheads Radio. I want to talk to you a minute about our friends over at HomefrontHugs.com. They're an amazing organization of volunteers who take their time, effort, and money to take care of our troops overseas as they serve our great nation. HomefrontHugs.com. You can donate, write letters to troops, adopt a troop, you name it, you can do it. Help those wonderful folks who protect our freedoms. Go to HomefrontHugs.com. Tell them Sackheads Radio sent you.
Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women in uniform of the armed forces. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank our men and women. Hey, this is Sackhead Clint. I want to take this opportunity to thank the men and women of our armed forces, as well as our... God.
You going to mention me this time?
Thank you, Sean. You said mention you, right?
Oh.
So you totally need to keep that as an outtake.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us.
I'm back.
We're back. We. 347-205-9399.
We want to biopsy your brain. Okay.
I love that movie, Ghostbusters.
Nailed it.
It's just such a classic.
Dude, and that's from an obscure line, too.
You know what? And I haven't been pushing it a lot lately, and I want to push it again because it's going to take a life of its own. I'm convinced. If you hate the UN as much as we do, go to our website, sackheadsradio.com. On the right, you can click on it and sign up to end our membership in the UN and stop all funding. Sponsored by the Sackheads Radio Show.
Yep.
So if you're listening,
sign the petition.
Sign the petition.
How many signatures do we have right now?
Like 25.
Do we really?
I haven't been pushing it, though, and that's something I'm going to get out this week.
Expected, yeah.
Yeah, so if you're in it, I'm going to send it. If I can get a goal of 10,000 is my goal. As soon as I hit 10,000.
We're partially there.
We're We're like
we're partially there.
We're a fraction of the way there.
We are 25 closer to our goal
than we were when we started.
Right.
And then I'm going to
3
send it
years
to
ago.
Congress. Maybe I'll hand deliver it to Congress. Hopefully,
we have some interviews to do.
Hopefully we can go to Washington and interview Karen Harrington if she gets elected. By the way,
is she coming on the show again?
We're trying to get her back on the show. Send the UN to Switzerland. I wouldn't wish that on Switzerland. They seem like a nice people.
David Limbaugh was supposed to come on also.
I know. I'm working on it. We've had a lot of changes, and I've fallen behind on our interview requests. But that race is really tight.
Whoa. Why do you have to bring race into this?
And the race between Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the head of the DNC, and friend of the show, Karen Harrington. Now, we have had Karen on the show before. She's a wonderful person. I think she's going to do a great job. I think she's going to win. And I'll tell you, Wasserman Schultz.
You know what? Florida right now is swinging right. Romney is holding the lead in Florida right now, according to the latest poll.
Yes.
And I think Karen Harrington can take out Debbie Wasserman Schultz as far as in the voting booths. I'm sure that's going to be spun. Oh, look. It's not going to happen. Yeah, I think
she's going to win.
I think she's going to win the election. She has a good shot. And I think
she's a great candidate. I love Karen.
Karen is awesome.
Would you say that she's the first candidate that we endorse as a show?
Are we endorsing a candidate?
Sackhead Sean will.
Okay.
Will we endorse her as a show?
Sackhead Clint will endorse Karen Harrington.
All right, there it is. So
and Sackhead Clint will endorse Mitt Romney.
Sackhead Sean will do the same. So there's, you know what? Now it's a slam dunk. I mean, with us behind it, there's no way.
Oh yeah, that's like 3 more people right there.
But so this is a really tight race in Florida.
But now hang on, I don't think the show as a whole can, because we don't have Sacco hasn't formally come out. I mean, he's got that Obama sticker on the back of his car. He hasn't formally come out and said it. Now, granted, I put it there,
right?
But
well, it's next to my peace symbol.
Right,
I put on his car.
Right, which is awesome, by the way.
Sackhead Sacco, are you going to do any
terrible people? And next to the coexist sticker that's on the front bumper that you never.
For those who didn't listen, he just called us terrible people. But guess who was in North Carolina the other day stomping for the president?
Sacco.
No. He was in Nevada.
Sackhead Clint.
No, you were not there. I know you just got in from the plane, but you were not there.
Sackhead Sean.
Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Now
was doing what?
She's in North Carolina, stumping around for the president, and she has her own election to run, a re-election to run.
Good.
In Florida. Doesn't that tell you that she's way out of touch? Because the poll numbers, you look at the poll numbers and it's close.
Yeah, it's like 3, 4, 5, and then they skip a number and it's like 8.
It's just, that shows you like how out of touch the real progressives on the left are.
I don't even know if she pays attention to poll numbers.
Right.
Maybe the only poll she pays attention to is the one she used to work on in college. I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm just throwing that out there. But she is very out of touch, obviously.
Well, there's an interview we'll never have.
Hey, we've invited her on the show how many times?
Probably 20.
Because we've had Karen Harrington on the show.
Yeah.
She was the projected winner, I think, even during the primaries. We had several of the primary candidates on.
We did.
But even that jacket wagon. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz never even responded back to us.
No, and
I mean, not even the courtesy of a no, nothing. So
and we still talk to Karen on Twitter, and she's doing well, and we do wish her well. So that was
Did I say Karen? I meant Debbie Wasserman.
No, you were right.
Okay.
No, I said we talked to Karen on Twitter.
Yeah, Deb. I'm just going to call her Deb. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Deb the Lib.
Yeah.
She won't even give us a call back, but she's invited on. I'm not worried about her coming on the show. Seriously, I don't. I would love to have.
How do we get back to Karen and Debbie? Oh, when we go to Washington to hand the petition over to Congress, we hopefully will be able to interview Karen.
Okay. Look, we have 22 minutes left, I think, at the most. I want to get into the next debate. Monday night is the final presidential debate.
Big one.
It's focusing on foreign policy. We just talked about Libya. Now a couple things real quick, and then some discussion points for us. The big deal is being made that Romney has zero foreign policy experience. That's topic number one.
Okay.
Topic number two, obviously, is Libya and how that's going to play into it.
Yeah.
And I think another topic in there, number three, is going to be China. Romney said he's going to label China a currency manipulator
Yep.
based upon how they devalue their currency or hold the value of their currency down. Obama's administration has refused to do so and is holding off judgment until after the election. So I think those are the three things. On the point of Romney not having any foreign policy experience, I want to point out that Obama had zero
Less
foreign
than
policy
zero.
experience. And not only that, but his foreign policy experience, or his experience, period, was that of a community organizer.
Yeah.
And that's it. Whereas Romney has zero foreign policy experience, maybe, but he was governor of a state. Which
Right,
I know
which is
governors, look, states have economies. Governors sometimes deal with foreign diplomats.
Right. Without a doubt.
I do know that. So I don't think he has zero foreign policy experience. The other thing is...
Well, and I'll submit a statement on the foreign policy, too. He may not have a government experience. U.S. experience. But as the head of companies, he's dealt overseas.
He has international experience.
So you can at least say that's more than what the president had when he took over.
Absolutely, but the debate is going to be framed experience now.
Right.
And the president does have more foreign policy experience. Granted, it's not good experience, in my opinion.
Right.
But
that's what I'm saying of a baseball player. I'm not a professional baseball player.
But you are a baseball player.
I can play the game.
Exactly. Same thing. So Obama does have more foreign policy experience than Mitt Romney, but how is that experience going to play out? And I think Romney can hang that around the president's neck.
Yeah.
The other topic real quick, and I know we're getting into a few different areas here, but I want to open it up for discussion, is Romney needs to stay focused on Libya, but not only Libya. I think Romney can win the China argument.
Yes.
And I also think Romney can win the entire Middle East argument and the Israel argument, because Romney should point out, in my opinion, that Obama was directly supporting the Arab Spring and the overthrow of Mubarak in Egypt,
yes,
who was an ally of ours,
yes,
who kept that region stable, and
had ties with Israel.
Had ties with Israel, kept the entire region stable. He also was responsible for taking out the government in Libya.
Mm-hmm.
He had a role in all of this. His administration did.
Hey, if a guy can destabilize a region, it's this president.
Absolutely. Yes, we give you a lot of credit for destabilizing the Middle East. Not that it was very
I know the
stable
other
before.
side is going to immediately go to Iraq and Afghanistan. Afghanistan was taken apart before we even got there.
It was. But Romney needs to control the debate and bring it. I know Iraq, Afghanistan is going to be talked on. The president has a great talking point with the fact that his administration, Osama bin Laden, was killed on his watch. And it was. And we've given the president credit for that. But I think that should be brought out at the beginning of the debate if Romney can control it that way and swing it that way.
Yeah.
And then he needs to bring it back around on Libya. He needs to bring it back around on the president's policies that have destabilized the Middle East
Hammered
even
it.
further.
All of his apologizing.
Yeah.
I would bring that up.
Yes, to a point. I think people are getting tired of hearing that.
Right, but it's there.
It's there, so touch on it, but then hammer those other points. We have a caller?
Yeah, why don't we take a call? And I think this is the exceptional conservative radio show on the air. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, how you all doing? Sean, Clint, you all are crazy. I really love listening to you all.
Well, thank you.
We try to please, you know what I mean?
I think it's just that we really don't care what people think is what I really think.
That is the best attitude.
It goes to show you that you don't need a certificate saying that you're mentally well to have an online radio show.
Right.
You know, I presented mine in order to get mine, so.
I had a friend in the right place.
Maybe that's why our symbol is a skull and crossbones with a paper bag over its head. What's on your mind, sir?
Another Schultz joke. Okay.
Hey, we might as well.
Okay.
Has been in the toilet tonight. I mean, we really have been at the bottom with our humor, and we love every second of it.
I just want to tell you all that you all are so all on point. And regarding the foreign policy, and I think it was very well pointed out that When President Obama started, he had absolutely no foreign policy experience, and now that he does have foreign policy experience, we understand that failure should not be repeated by anybody.
Well, and it's one of those things where he can say he has all the foreign policy experience he wants, but you just point to the failures in that foreign policy experience. Carter had foreign policy experience when he got out. It wasn't that good either.
Look, I think when the president sends the space agency to reach out to the Middle East, I mean that. Hey, Mr. President, I don't know if you really understand what NASA is there for. It's not policy. So they launch shit into space. They figure out math problems, you know.
I can imagine him sitting around with Biden and smoking a joint or two and saying, you know what, man, NASA. We've got to use NASA.
We got it all figured out. Just send one of those big ass spaceships over there, and everyone will love us.
I bet you Iran is really thanking us. Man, thank you for the satellite, man.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for giving a couple of our scientists jobs. We're not really doing anything over there.
Right.
But,
doesn't it scare you that we elected him with absolute zero foreign policy experience, which is fine. There have been other presidents that have had that. This is what he has to run on, and it's almost like he's going to choose to run on it.
Well, he has to. He cannot run on the economy, and he did kill. He didn't, but Osama bin Laden was killed on his watch. That's the one positive of this.
During the Smith dinner, he actually brought that out. He goes, "Hey, during the foreign policy debate, spoiler alert, we got bin Laden." Well, that's already off the table. You've already used that. How can you pull that out again?
Easy. He said spoiler alert.
This is my question. My question is this: how can we be so snobby now? We weren't so particularly 4 years ago.
I know. And doesn't he get snobbier as time goes on?
Yeah, he does. And I love his conversation with the black man who asked him a question. I did all these things for you. You should be respecting me and accepting everything. You should be groveling at my feet. Thank you very much.
Well, you know what?
I thought the Republicans usually do that when they have conversations, no?
Right.
I mean,
no.
So I know, I'm being facetious.
He should have just turned around and said Obama phone, and that would have been the end of the conversation.
Exactly. Look, baby, I got you food stamps.
Obama phone and said, he should have called him on the Obama phone and said, we're having this conversation because of me.
Oh, my God.
Oh, you guys are priceless. Keep up the great work, man. I'm telling you, you all are great.
Thank you very much. You have a show?
I do. I do indeed.
Go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and plug it, man?
It's the Exceptional Conservative Show. Hopefully, you're seeing my advertisements. I paid a fortune for them in exchange for the food stamps and the free phone.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you didn't build it.
Oh,
the difference doesn't make it.
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Well,
my God!
Your show on the air?
It is on Monday through Thursdays from 9 to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And thank you all so much.
Plenty of time on Friday to listen to us.
9 to 10:30 p.m. or a.m.
It's on p.m.
p.m. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta catch people when they're. Yeah, my people have to be awake, so that's normally the time.
Yeah, we don't like to have awake people. We do not like to have awake people.
No, people don't want to listen to us when they're awake. They want to listen to us when it's late at night. They've been drinking a lot.
And we're not like David Allen Boucher, if you know who that is. We're not that soft voice that you lay in bed and listen to fall asleep. If you listen to us, you're going to be up listening to Pantera for the rest of the night after you get off the show with us. So we are not a good.
Or you're going to go to the strip club,
right?
And hopefully don't see Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh my God! What a poll you have to take there.
Is that a snail trail? No, it's not.
Listen, honey, take the 20 and go home. Hey.
She's the only one ever to be paid to put clothes back on.
Yeah, no, here's 100, really. Are those crooked? What is that?
Well, that probably explains the Donorgate problem right now for Obama. You know, that's where you got the small change. So, yeah, one poll. Yeah.
I love the fact that we can blame all this and not be able to control live radio. That's our default is, hey, we can't control live radio.
Yeah.
It just happens.
But you guys contributed to it. Listen.
Hey, you know what? At the end of the day, everyone the same thing the president should have told everybody, but he didn't. It's our freedom of speech to do it this way, and this is how we choose to do it.
Exactly.
Wow.
So expect the police to be coming to a home near you.
Hey,
pretty sure we're on a watch list already.
We are convinced we're on a watch list already. Do you get followed home by black helicopters at night?
Why do you have to be
I live in Washington D.C., so I am probably on that hit list.
You're like our inside man, then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
I am
remember,
probably on the hit list.
If you get a knock on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning, just run out the back door and go.
No, don't. They probably have that covered up. So go into the basement. Tunnel your way out.
Just call NASA. Maybe they'll send NASA over there. Hey, I appreciate you calling in. We got to wrap up the show, but thank you so much.
Thanks so much for calling
Y'all take care now.
You too, bud.
Have a great night.
You too.
I love fun calls like that, man.
You know what? I got to check his show out.
Yeah, absolutely going to. It's the
Exceptional Conservative Show, Mondays through Thursdays, 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern on Blog Talk Radio.
Absolutely.
And thanks for that call. Love that.
You know what? Maybe I'll throw a link up to his show on our webpage because he seems like a guy we want to listen to and other people should listen to.
Okay.
So, I'll do that this week. Why not? I think it's great. I love the fact that how many conservatives have sat and actually showed their head in this election. And this will be my speech on this. The left only has themselves to blame for how many conservatives are coming to the forefront. You know, the last election, it was kind of like, everyone was just like, whatever. I think they were burned out. I think Bush did some damage to the conservatives.
We had McCain. I mean, seriously.
And then to put up to it, we had McCain, so it was hard to get. And it wasn't the McCain of 2000, who was a totally different person than he was in 2008. He still wasn't the optimal guy, but he was more.
What are you, Obama? Optimal, really? We're talking about the presidential election. Our country.
The fact, wait a minute.
That is an important election.
This is how
Look where we are now in 4 years later, and you use optimal to describe that? Are you kidding me?
You pay attention to me, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Because I said that intentionally.
I know you do. We're like a married couple. Though we're not married, we're conservative.
But if we were in certain states, forget it.
Forget it. Never mind.
So that was a good show. We had some great calls.
Did we even really get to the next debate? We
let's
barely touched on it.
So, no, finish up. I'm sorry. You still have I'm going to give you a minute.
You're going to give me, this is my show, too. I'm going to take 2 minutes.
No.
Go to end it then.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. You get all the time you want, buddy.
No, I don't even know what I was going to say now because that last call was awesome. You know, to recap, Romney, I think, has the upper hand in this coming into this debate. He says that there's no foreign policy experience there, and I think Obama's going to try and hit him on that as well as the bin Laden thing. I think this is Romney's debate to lose.
Absolutely.
I think
I think it's his campaign to lose at this point.
Well, I do too. To a point, there's still a lot of people out there and a lot of union folks who are just going to vote the D because they think it's going to help their paycheck. But he's gaining a lot of ground, and he absolutely can win this debate on substance. I think the president is going to come at him hard again like he did in the second debate. I think you'll see some tense moments there where they will exchange words. I hope so. I like lively debates. I think the president will make some good points, especially talking about how he got bin Laden. I think he's also going to talk about UN stuff, which is a losing argument for conservatives, but it's a winning argument for his base and for some independents.
Right.
Romney, I think, though, if he hits him on Libya, he hits him on the Middle East issues, he hits him on Israel. I think that, and he hits him on U.S. sovereignty. I think it's his debate to lose. And another point I wanted to make before we took that call, is if you don't think Obama does not really likes individual countries and likes borders and thinks of America as exceptional, if you believe that he really thinks that way as president, you go back to what he did before he was president, before he ran for office. He didn't put his hand over his heart for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right.
Until he was told that he should probably do that since he's running for president. He refused to wear an American flag on his lapel until he was told it was probably a good idea for him to do that.
Right.
He you have the YouTube clip. I go to it again from I believe it was Inauguration Day, big flag ceremony, where you have the First Lady of the United States saying all of this for a damn flag.
Right.
And the president, with a disdain, kind of looks back and nods in agreement, and they both and she kind of shakes her head. It's really disgusting. And to have a First Lady say that, and then to have the President of the United States agree with that, and with the totality of those circumstances, it's clear that he does not support America as an exceptional country, that he supports a global community. And that
Agenda 21, the
right,
Global Arms Treaty, all that stuff.
That should be a level playing field for everybody globally, which then talks into wealth redistribution. And I think Romney on his foreign policy can also talk about, I believe he can bring energy into this debate again.
Mm-hmm.
By talking, as I think it was a winning point with him last time.
Right.
He can bring it into this debate because you have the U.S. government giving money to Venezuela and Mexico to drill in the Gulf of Mexico, where the president had cut permits. So I believe that can be tied into foreign policy and bring that on the energy sector also. So Romney can hit.
And then China.
Yep. Energy currency manipulator. So that brings the economy back into it also.
Yeah.
And ties to jobs and so forth. So there's a lot of damage Romney can do on the issues and really do another indictment of Obama during this debate.
Speaking of jobs in the economy, I heard a report today. I didn't have a chance to confirm it. I heard it on the news, and I forget where. It may have been on the Blaze or Fox. But the guy who's supposed to report the jobless numbers for California.
That was not on the Blaze. It was not on Fox. Because I don't know if it was on the Blaze. I know it was not on Fox because I looked for it. But I heard the same report. Go ahead.
Did not report the jobless numbers
in California.
For the entire state, which has one of the highest unemployment states in the union, to Washington before the last jobs report came out.
Which is why it was 7.8%.
Which is why it was 7.8%. It is officially skewed. That came out and it's confirmed.
But the media has buried that story.
So you heard it here first, all four of us. At least one person from the Exceptional Conservative Show, and Rooster probably heard it too. But that's a big statement. So keep that in mind. I bet you that comes out
but
when
you know
the
what?
economy comes out.
I don't know because that's been buried. Try doing a search for that story. I've tried searching for that story.
I found it.
Where did you find it?
I don't remember.
Thank you. Nice one. Nice work.
I didn't think it was going to come up.
Look, I heard a rumor that had happened. I hadn't heard a confirmed report, but
right.
I heard it from one of our sources.
Yeah.
And I tried doing research to find a news story on it because I couldn't come out with anything, obviously, and I was unable to do so. So I'm curious where we have that story. If we find it, we need to put a link up to our page. We should do a press release if we find it. And it's not out for anywhere else.
I agree. If it's not up anywhere else, but I think Exceptional Conservative just linked it in the chat room. So
thank you.
That saves us from having to do a press release. My closing thoughts on the upcoming the upcoming debate is this, and it's real simple: hit on China, hit on Libya. It is on Fox.
Fox Business.
Fox Business does have it. You hit on China, you hit on Libya, you hit on the fact that China manipulates currencies, we talked about before, that China has been subpar in their trade agreement as far as lead, even little things like that, and it has been ignored. And then you get...
Didn't the diaper plant just get shut down?
Yeah, it's bad. But they keep letting those products...
Well, hey, you know what? And that's something that's going to directly affect families and so forth here in the U.S. because the price of diapers is going to skyrocket.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, you can go to the government and they'll probably give it to you. The other thing that I think Romney has to do, which he's starting to do, I think he's done pretty good, is get him off his narrative, get him away from his mental teleprompter, let him speak himself into trouble. Because debate, he did
Let
that
Romney
a lot.
speak himself into trouble?
Let the president. He did that in the first debate, and I know Obama was a little slow, but I think if he forces him away from his narrative, have to defend things that he wasn't planning on defending, you're going to start seeing the real issue come up.
I think he knows exactly where he's going to get hit on this debate. I think he knows that he's in a losing predicament, and he's going to have to come after Mitt Romney hard. Hey, if you can't argue the facts and you can't argue the law, argue like hell.
Right.
And I think that's what he's going to do.
Well, we'll find out this week.
This has been a fun show.
Great show.
Fun, as always.
Thank you, sir.
I got to climb back in the cockpit.
Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/SackheadsRadio. You follow us on Twitter @Sackheads. Of course, our website is www.sackheadsradio.com. We will see you next Friday night at the exact same time,
And it's
10:30.
it's kind of a big deal, but we're starting to contribute to other shows. So
we are. So if you're another show and you're interested, email us.